guys, thanks for tuning in. This is optibotimus coming with another video review. And on today's episode, we are going to be taking a look at something that, as a kid from the 80s, I've been looking forward to for a long time. Today we're going to be taking a look at the ShoutFactory.com exclusive Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Collection Limited Edition Collector Set. Now, if you're not familiar with Shout Factory, they're basically a company that releases movies in DVD and Blu-ray format and things of that nature. And basically what you have here is, finally after many years, a Blu-ray release of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, with a whole bunch of brand new extra bonus features. This is definitely an outstanding set, but I don't really review movies like this, so I'm not going to touch too much on it, but this is the movie. Now, you can actually buy this separately. It doesn't include all the other stuff that you're seeing here, but you get this, I think you get this nice little like slip sleeve, and then you get the movie here on the inside. You do not get these, well, this is just an insert, but you don't get these, which are just stickers. So you got Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, like I said, it's just a sticker, and then you also have a sticker here for Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I believe these are exclusive to this whole little collector set kind of thing right here. So these are nice little additions. I really don't plan on sticking these on anything, but it's still cool nonetheless. Then on the inside here, you got a nice recreation of the original Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure cover art, and you got Bill and Ted on top of, you know, the phone booth. This is an all new image that they had kind of made themselves, and then on the back here, taking this out, you got the cover art here for Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. You got 3 discs in this set. This third disc here is the special features. This one here is Bogus Journey, and then the other one here is Excellent Adventure. I do think that you can reverse this if you want. You can just slide this out, and then you can flip this around if you wanted to. That's actually kind of cool to actually be able to do. I do like the new kind of art that they have on here, but you may like that classic kind of look. I don't know, and now I'm going to have a hard time sliding this back in here, so okay, there we go. And then on the back here, you have a bit of a read-up and a list of the new audio commentaries and all the new special features that are on this, which I am actually really excited to take a look at. I've seen these movies many times, but, you know, hearing from, you know, Alex Winter and even Keanu Reeves, it'd be kind of cool to go back and kind of revisit them, I guess. So really cool here. And like I said, this set here is available. You can buy this. It is $40 if you bought it just for the movie. I feel like that honestly is a little bit high for an older movie. I mean, I understand that it's got new stuff to it, but when you break it down to $20 a piece for an old movie like this, I don't really see it. I think like $25, maybe $30 for this set is probably a little bit better of a price. But we'll talk on that here a little bit more. Now, as part of the exclusive set that is only available through Shout Factory, you can get this. You also can, in the pack, get this Wild Stallions guitar pick, which I don't play guitar, but I mean, that's kind of a cool little, you know, prop, I guess, to kind of have. And then you also do get a lithograph here of the actual, it's really hard to see, but you get a really large poster here, which is a recreation of the box art. One thing that I see though is that the box art here is a lot clearer. This is a little bit blurry and kind of, I don't know, almost like pixelated. It's not as clear, I guess. I don't know. You can really see it kind of down here, like with Rufus and stuff. It's just not as sharp and as crisp as this is. I kind of would have preferred that. So while this is nice to have, and I could totally see myself, you know, getting a frame for this and putting it somewhere, I don't think it's, again, you know, talking price-wise, really worth that much. It's a cool piece. Don't get me wrong, but in order to get this limited edition collector set, this set actually costs $80. So it's twice the price of this, and a lot of it is going to this guy right here. This is an exclusive to only this set, available only on Shout Factory. Thanks to the folks at NECA, they have created a Rufus figure, which is a wonderful precursor to what we're going to be getting here very shortly, which are their versions of Bill and Ted. Absolutely excited about it. I love the package art on here. Replicates the phone booth very nicely. On the back here, it says, in 2688, Earth is a paradise thanks to the teachings of the great ones, Bill and Ted. At least it will be if they can pass history class. Luckily, they got Rufus, an ultra cool guardian angel from the future in a time-traveling phone booth. Don't worry, he's a professional. And then as you can see, he comes with a couple extra accessories, including a pair of removable sunglasses, the Circuits of Time directory, and a Wild Stallion CD, which is funny because I don't know why in 2688 they would still be using CDs, but this movie was from the 80s. So they probably thought that that would be around for a long time. And as you can see, you can take the sunglasses off and just have a normal look. And remember, be excellent to each other. So, I mean, this is what I think a lot of collectors are really going to be going for. But this whole thing, like I said, is $80. A typical, NECA figure in this style where it has, the very nice likeness and then actual cloth clothing. And we'll open this up and take a closer look here in a minute. But a figure like this usually runs about $25. So you got $40 for this, $25 for this. So you're looking at $65. I can't imagine the stickers, this little pick, and that poster being another $15. I guess maybe it could be, but when you look at it, I think that the figure is okay. This and the poster, and the stickers, I should say, I'll be okay with, at a $15 price point, and like I said, $25 for this. I think it's the movie that I'm really stuck on, saying this is $40? I can't wrap my brain around that. But I don't know the special features on here. I haven't watched it or anything. I'm going to watch it here in a little bit, but this is primarily going to be a review on this guy. And I've already been talking for a while, so let's get this going. Let's get this guy out here and see how cool he actually is. And here we have Rufus out of his packaging, and while I really appreciate what NECA did with this figure, in terms of giving us Bill and Ted merchandise, I've been waiting for figures like this for a very long time. But because of that, I'm left a little bit disappointed in how it turned out. What they decided to do with these figures is go with that retro kind of doll sort of thing. We saw it before previously with some of the releases. I've taken a look at the Home Alone ones with the Macaulay Culkin figure and things like that. It's one thing that to get these figures. It's another, though, that I feel they could have done, because it's NECA, I feel they could have done a better job representing these characters in terms of an action figure form. For his accessories, while this, I don't know if you could really consider this an accessory. Like I said, this actually does a pretty good job of looking like the phone booth. Unfortunately, though, it's a little bit too thin to be kind of phone booth related. But on the inside here, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that actually through the little window here. But taking it out, you can actually see they did a nice job on the insert here. It definitely looks like the inside of the phone booth. You got the nice payphone thing right here, which kids nowadays might not even know what that is. And then through the window, you can see it's like that future sort of room where Rufus first was introduced to us. That's actually cool. I do really wish at some point we can get an actual phone booth. I've talked to NECA, and they said that it would be too expensive to do. They kind of gave us a phone booth in this sort of thing, but again, it just doesn't come across right, I don't think. But I guess you could look at it as an accessory. He also does come with the Circuits of Time phone directory, which, as you can see, it's this nice little book kind of thing. It says history at your fingertips. I like that. And then some nice detail kind of replicating pages and stuff on the inside. It doesn't open or anything of that nature, but still really very nice nonetheless. He also does come with his sunglasses, if it will focus. There we go. I kind of think this is a little bit more of an iconic look for Rufus, as he's a very cool kind of dude, and having him wear sunglasses I think works really nicely. You got some nice silver paint throughout the entire thing, and then you got some nice black for the actual lenses. And then he also comes with what they're calling the CD case. It is in reality just a printed piece of cardboard. One thing that I don't particularly like is in the clamshell, this is actually taped to the plastic. So when you're taking this out, you have to peel the tape off of this, and my concern was pulling the image off of the cardboard. I got lucky with it, but I could imagine very easily it actually getting damaged. And one thing that you're seeing is it's a little bit bent right here. That's because I had to, get in there to pull the actual tape off, and that ended up, bending the piece of cardboard. So I just, like I said, accessory wise, I would have much preferred if this was an actual piece of plastic as opposed to just cardboard. And then I guess you could kind of say for his other accessories, you're looking at his outfit, I suppose. Coming in though to take a closer look at the figure, I really do think they did a very nice job in recreating the likeness to George Carlin here. At a quick glance, that definitely looks like him. And then again, obviously, if you wanted to, you can take his glasses and they just kind of friction on there, so just put those on just like so, and then you can recreate that look, which I do like. But when you take those off, I think you definitely have a very good George Carlin likeness. Now the rest of the figure is basically, like I said, kind of like a doll in some respects. He is wearing fabric clothing, which, because of the nature of what they do with it, it really does not fit the body. I mean, the jacket is just way too big. It draped very nicely in the actual movie. Now, there are probably some things that you can do to kind of get it to sit down to the body a little bit better. I'm thinking double-sided sticky tape, to kind of mitigate some of that poofiness. But as it is, it just, I don't know. I think it's cool, but I really would have just preferred a full-on just figure. Sculpting the whole thing. I understand that it would be a lot more expensive to do it. This is a cheaper way to do the figure, but at a $25 price point, I don't really necessarily see it. Now, one thing that I'm kind of also noticing is that this sleeve on this side here looks a little bit poofy and kind of sticks down, and I've really pulled it up here, and in kind of pulling it up as much as I can, it seems like it hangs down lower than this one does, or maybe it's just because it's poofier. I mean, this one is a lot more kind of form-fitted around that arm than this one is, so I don't necessarily know what that's all about. I'm also, you got these little extra bits kind of glued on here. This doesn't have it. I don't know if it's supposed to have it on both sides. It looks like there's a little glue spot right there, but I don't have that same thing on there, so I'm not sure if that's just a quality control thing or what have you. You got those extra little buttons here on his inner jacket. I do think that the little clip that represents like his tie of sorts, I think that's a little bit too big compared to what I've seen in the movie itself. It might not be too bad, but it definitely stands out, I think. You got this kind of blob sort of thing here, which really doesn't look like much of anything. I don't know if that's because maybe the movie didn't really show it very clearly or whatever, but that really doesn't look like too much, honestly. I do like the inner suit here. That is a lot more kind of form-fitting, and you can obviously remove the outer jacket. I don't recall him actually, though, taking this off in the movie. Like I said, I've seen it a bunch of times, and my recollection is not always that good, but I definitely don't recall him ever taking that outer jacket off. But I do like what they're doing with the inner suit here, and then obviously you got his pants and then a nice dress shirt on the inside. You can hear, though, this is a I don't know. The material is different than this. This is a lot more silky. This is a lot more rough. And then you can actually see that it kind of wrinkles. I don't know if that was just the way that it was in the package. But again, I think form-fitting wise, we could probably do some kind of things to it to kind of make it sit closer to the body. And again, you can kind of see how this kind of creased just from it rolling over, probably again in the package. The shirt kind of, you gotta futz with this. There's definitely some futzing that's going to be necessary in doing this, and this kind of rolls up. Actually, I kind of like how that is, because it kind of keeps that off of his hand, whereas this kind of goes down and covers up his hand. So maybe I'll try doing that with that, just kind of roll that up or something. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. You can see that the body is just pretty standard, and then you got some nice shoes down here that are just just bits of plastic. So for his articulation, the head is on a bit of a ball joint, so you can get a nice range of motion. It looks up and down a little bit. I'm trying to see, and I don't know necessarily if it's two different ball joints. I think there might be one at the top and then one towards at the bottom, because it kind of feels like there is another joint in there, but you can get it looking up and down, left and right and everything. The shoulders do rotate. They also hinge outward, so nice range of motion there, although you can't really see it. You got one joint here, I feel, at the actual elbow. The wrists here, they do rotate and then they hinge forward and back. Let's see, nothing at the upper abs or anything. It does feel like he's got a waist rotation. The hips move forward and back nicely. They move outward. Let's see, you got one joint. Yeah, it just feels like one joint here at the knee, and then the ankles move forward and back. There's no pivot or anything, so you're kind of stuck with his feet kind of being like this. And one thing I'm also noticing on this is that it kind of, you can totally see it there, that kind of angles out. Lifting that up a little bit, that, come on, get up. That's just, that might just be the plastic, I think. Oh, it also does rotate at the upper part of the hip area. So nice range of motion on it. I mean, I get it. You don't have to fully sculpt and tool an action figure or something. I just am left really wanting that. And while this is cool looking, I feel it could be much, much better. As you can see, futzing around with him, you can actually get him looking a little bit better. I completely took all of his clothes off, repositioned everything when I put it back on him, and got it looking as best as I could. I actually did use some double-sided tape, but because of the fact that it's the fabric, it doesn't stick all that great. So I don't know necessarily what I could use to kind of get an ideal look for him, but you can definitely get him looking better. He's still a figure, though, that, at the end of the day, though, he's still a figure that I'm left just thinking that he could be just so much better. In doing it in this clothing kind of way, I know that they can reuse the body with other figures and things like that, and it cuts down costs. But for someone like me who's really wanted kind of definitive versions of Bill and Ted characters for a long time, I really wish they put a little bit more into this. The likeness, I think, is really very good. I absolutely love it. There's no problem with that at all. And I think this could work in terms of an action figure if the actual tailoring was done a little bit better and more, I guess, realistic. And ultimately, I'm torn on this because it is Rufus, and I'm happy to have, you know, a collectible for him. But that only takes me so far. And then I gotta put my personal feelings aside and take a look at this in terms of a collectible, and it just doesn't come across all that well. And then, as I talked about, the only way to get this figure is if you buy this exclusive set from Shout Factory. There is no other way really to get this figure. Unless you buy him like aftermarket on eBay or something, which you're probably going to pay more money for it. In terms of the film, though, I definitely do not think it is worth $40. Especially when you consider that Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was released just a couple years ago on Blu-ray. Yes, they did have to do Bogus Journey, and they did put a lot of extra new bonus features in this, and that was really cool to go and, you know, listen to Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves talk about, you know, the journey of making the movies. It was great seeing all those actors kind of talk about it. But ultimately, like I said, $40 for the set, I don't think is really a good price for it. So when it comes down to it, the question is, do I recommend this set? I'm definitely torn on it. $80 is a lot of money for this. I do think for the figure, the stickers, the poster, the little guitar pick, I'm okay paying, you know, $40 for that. But then when you throw in the movie, which by itself sells for $40, I can't do it. I definitely think that this Blu-ray set will eventually go on clearance, but in order to get Rufus, there's no other way to do it. And I don't know if Shout Factory does discounts or, you know, bargain bin sales on their site or something. So I think it's a cool set. I just, price-wise, I'm not digging it. But all that being said, if you are interested in picking this set up, you can do so right now over at Shout Factory. I'll even put a link down in the video description where you can check that out. So if you're looking for it, good luck and happy hunting. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that if you like this video, to please like and share it. Also, be sure to subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. That way you never miss a future review of mine. And as always, until next time, I'll talk to you later.